but my kids think the sound is awesome. So it's clearly this outdated sound, but they just like the kind of over the topness of it. So in fact, they like Striper more than my hip hop that I play them, I think. And then like their other favorite artist is Weird Al. That's the other person.
Weird Al, yeah, he's good.
See that though.
They pretty much like a lot of annoying music, basically.
Hey, Shalom, Akim, YAHAWASHI, Barakatum. All praise, glory, and honor to the Most High, YAHAWAH, BaHaShem, YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the elders and apostles, better known as the Great Millstone. Shalom, honor and salutation to you sincere brothers as well. I'm on my personal page. Usually I upload straight to the camp page. But what I'm doing on this one, as you can see by the title, Vocab Malone goes live on Zoom, intended for paid users only. This is a commentary. So I'm going to have him playing in the background so I can keep listening to him. And one thing off the bat, something that we mentioned at camp is, he'll claim against it, as he did in this video, but he is trying to make a profit off of this thing. He's trying to hide behind the guise in a mask of that he's doing what he calls God's work by being targeted by the two most hateful religions, saying Islam and Hebrew Israelites, which he's just looking for a pity party at that point. But I'm looking at the comment board here, and there was one person who asked a question, and they automatically just assume, and he never answered the question. So you got to assume that the person's question was, it was obviously getting to him. One person asked him to break down Daniel's the 7th and 8th chapter. Of course, he's not going to do that. What else was asked that he avoided? It was asked if he ate pork. People bugged out and said that they accused him of eating pork when it was a question. They asked him if he was an Edomite, and he said no, based on saying that all the Edomites were destroyed. Now that's a lie. And another thing that we went into on camp this past week was that if all the Edomites were done away with and destroyed, then we would be in the kingdom of heaven, pertaining to the prophecy in Obadiah. Okay, pertaining to even Revelation. And another thing about vocab that he's going to continue to do is he's going to continue to avoid using the Bible in any scripture, and he's going to continue to use authors and theologian authors, and he's going to keep promoting the authors and these theologian scholars, and it's no more different than what Polite was doing, getting these black power militant people to come and be speakers who would put out books as well. So he's doing the same exact thing. One thing with vocab is the majority of these people that are on this Zoom thing, okay, as I'm going to show you right now, are female. Okay, they're you see, this is so he's really not into the word, as you can see. And someone would say, well, how or why? And I mean, that's an easy thing to answer, you know. Is that Ezekiel 34? It says, "And ye my flock, the flock of my pasture, are men, and I am your power, saith the Most High." That's who the Most High is looking for the elect, the chosen. Okay, the 1/3, the women and children will be included in the 1/3. So he's over here, and then this girl in the bottom corner, in the green, she was talking about. Everyone thought that she was a male because of her account activity or whatever, and she wanted to be She said she wanted to be anonymous with it. So that's a whole nother issue in itself. So you can see what vocab promotes is nothing scriptural, and he's going to keep going on about that. So as I was listening, I took some notes, and he says that he does these Zoom intimate. He calls them intimate sessions, so that they can do things like a prayer requests. The scriptures tell you that when you pray, you're supposed to pray alone in your closet, and that's YAHAWASHI said that, to pray in secret. Okay, you're supposed to pray in secret, right? Matthew's the 6th chapter. And see, this guy, he says that he loves the Lord. He hates YAHAWASHI. He calls him Jesus, but he hates YAHAWASHI, man. Okay, it says, and when thou prayest, thou shalt not be as the hypocrites are, for they love to pray, standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. Now, they would say, oh, well, we're not in a synagogue and we're not in the corners of the streets. There's a point to it, that they may be seen of men. You see? But then that's what they're doing in these intimate sessions, praying, okay, in the sight of each other. But when thou prayest, when you pray, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. But when ye pray, use not vain repetitions, as do the heathen do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. You see? So this is interesting too, because why is YAHAWASHI telling, who is he talking to say to be not like the heathen, if he came to save everyone, including the heathen? See, he came for Israel. That's a known thing, which vocab continues to ignore. So like I said in Obadiah, okay, he says Edom is gone, right? So it's Obadiah 1:18 and to verse 21. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame. Now the house of Jacob is representing the southern kingdom, and the house of Joseph is the northern kingdom. Okay, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. Okay, and they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain of the Philistines. So real quick, the Jews, those rats that are over there, at what point in time, where's the historical documentation that Israel, the northern and southern kingdom, killed all of Edom? Okay, because if that happened, then they should at this point be possessing the mount of Esau, their land and everything. And they of the plain of the Philistines. And they shall possess the fields of Ephraim and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead. So this hasn't happened. You can't prove that that's happened. And the captivity of this host of the children of Israel, and the captivity of this army of the children of Israel, shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath, and the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sephar, shall possess the cities of the south. Look at this fool, man.
When even the president speaks through rhymes. 2006, 7, 8. All right. The president raps. The mailman raps. But he forgot his lines. I'm gonna turn it off in a second, guys. I'll show you this one last verse, and then we'll take it off. I think it's fun. Oh, you know what? Let me just show you the part with Pi Diddy. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Oh, here he is. Here's Pi Diddy. See him, James?
Yep. Yep.
Like his name is 50 Crew, JJ Dog, Tomasa 2, a bunch of dudes who were in the one's crew. These disciples who follow Christ, they believe he is the key to life. How about regulars who think they cool? Recognize you from middle school. They own hip hop, but pull the car. They sign the man, he's wrong.
So there, you guys have seen something that very few, well, I mean, back in the day, a lot of people saw it, but very few current people knew. But so she was at that. And then I actually rapped at Cooperstown. So for a number of years, Alice Cooper in Phoenix ran this restaurant called Cooperstown, and all the waiters and waitresses dressed up with weird makeup, right? And they would, but it was right beside the D-backs, the Arizona Diamondbacks field, where they play baseball, because, you know, we got a major league team 20 years ago or whatever, 1998. And so it was a mixture of heavy metal themes with baseball themes, and it was called Cooperstown, which is kind of clever. Alex Cooper and the Cooperstown, which is baseball's Hall of Fame, where it's located in New York. And so I went there a couple times
Anyway,
to eat, but a number of years ago,
you can see what this guy's about. They're not even going over scriptures, man. He's got nothing to do with the prophecy, okay, with the good news and the salvation to come for the nation of Israel. Okay, so again, this hasn't taken place. Okay. And the captivity of this army of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath, and the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Zaphared, shall possess the cities of the south. And saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. So are we in the kingdom of heaven? The answer is no. This isn't the kingdom of heaven. He's still waiting for the Lord to return, right? Well, this hasn't happened yet. Okay? See? But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. So if the real Jews are in that land, then there's supposed to be holiness going on. There's not holiness going on over there. There's war. This is another thing that we had made mention of, okay, at camp. Okay. Matter of fact, let me see something real quick. Okay. Let me see. So, it's like 1 second. I'm trying to get something sent out real quick. It's all right. Okay. Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, starting at verse 2. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords, their weapons, into plowshares, into farming tools, and their spears, their weapons, into farming tools, into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Lord. So this hasn't taken place yet. Okay? Isaiah 2:2, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains. Again, this hasn't happened yet. You see? Mount Zion. It's the same thing that's going on. And shall be exalted above the hills. And all nations shall flow unto it. So this isn't happening. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the Most High of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. So you can see this hasn't happened, and it hasn't taken place yet. Okay, let's look at this, man. It's just four women on the chat. One guy. There's one guy who's active. Everyone else is just listening. But yeah, these people, they don't get it, which they're not supposed to. That's another thing. You know, they don't get it, man. Matter of fact, real quick, let me see. Man, how do I find that? Let me see. Salakia for the delay. Trying to find matter of fact, that's all right. We don't gotta worry about it. All right. So again, going back to this list I got, okay. So another thing he said he wanted to talk about in this thing, which he's not really getting to. He's not getting to any of this stuff he said, but Reformed theology, so that he can present his side of things. So he's going to tiptoe into those things, so people will consider what he's saying. Now it's funny that he says that he uses that, but he doesn't. It's not a two-way street, that train of thought for him. So he wants people to consider what he's saying, but he won't consider what other people are saying. Okay? And it's a private hangout for the patrons. So people that pay money, it's for them. The Lord never did that or established or wanted anyone to establish that. Okay? It's funny how a lot of times people will use the law of the scriptures to justify obtaining money, but they won't use the law or try to justify it for things like, the easy things, growing a beard, wearing a garment, a dietary thing, not going into your woman when she's on her period, things like that. They'll pick and choose these things, So now he's starting to talk about something.
And so the issue there is that.
So he actually thinks.
Level of control God has, and it's sometimes
he actually thinks this is what he's still saying. He says, I think. I'm going to play this a little bit.
Desire and thought that we're autonomous, that we're in charge or we're in control. Now, Christians who aren't reformed say, no, vocab, that's wrong. You make God turn people into puppets. Or I'm not here to fight with people and do all that. I don't think we need to make everything personal. Like anytime I see an attack.
Salaki. I don't know how good this volume is right now. I don't know how good this okay. Volume is. Salaki. Oops. Let me get that back. Okay. Hopefully everything's okay still. Okay. Hopefully everything's okay still. Salaki. So again, he keeps talking out of his own heart. So another precept. He keeps talking out of his own heart. So another precept. Okay. This is Isaiah 8:20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. According to this word, okay. Because there is no light in them. Okay. We brought these scriptures up again at camp. We brought these scriptures up again at camp. Yeah. See, brothers right now are doing videos on him right now too. As he's live, and he's trying to be he's trying to teach in secret. Really, that brings another oh man, I think that's in the Apocrypha though. Trying to heap unto himself disciples. Trying to heap unto himself disciples. Is it heap? I want to say that's the word that's used. Um, maybe it's not in the Apocrypha. Maybe it's not in the Apocrypha. Maybe it's New Testament. Maybe it's New Testament. Man, but yeah, that's another precept. Heapeth unto himself disciples. That's another precept. So that's what he's doing. He's got a small following that is that's paying his way, and what he does is he goes to these theologian seminars. Okay, so they have their own racket, their own marketing that they're doing, and they promote each other with these thoughts and these books, and they never go into the scriptures for a constant basis. So with all these books, you would think that he would come across the books that we've stated, the historical books, okay, that have shown and even that prove, okay, because he likes to throw that word history and historical around a lot, but he won't consider our side of things. So where did I get that stupid ass picture of John Mark Riker? Fucking piece of shit moron. It's got that stupid look on his face. This one right here. Piece of shit moron. Tag archives. Thing Vocab Malone was wrong about. Eschatology, the rapture, yes, the rapture, no. So apologetic methodology, debate behavior, imprecise citation, young earth evidences. And the funny thing about this is, it says to understand the background story to this post, here is a partial transcript from a recent backpack radio show called First Friday Debate Review. Spencer Hawkins, are you open to being wrong about any of those three topics? And he says, I guess maybe it depends on what you mean by being wrong, because there's a lot of things that I already have been wrong about in regards to those questions throughout my life, and including some of them recently, and there are things that I will continue to need to modify. So with that, I want to get another precept, man. Is that Matthew's? No, James 5:12. But above all things, my brethren, swear not, which means to make an oath, neither by heaven, neither by earth, neither by any other oath, but let your yea be yea, and your nay be nay, lest you fall into condemnation. Okay, and I know it's got to be in Matthew and Mark too, where it says, anything more of this cometh evil. Okay, let me see. What's that? Here it is. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than these cometh evil. You see? So vocab, anytime he's asked anything, he's always got, look at this, man, much words. He's got much words to say. Are you open to being wrong about any of those three topics? He says, I guess maybe it depends on what you mean by being wrong. What do you mean? Wrong is wrong. Okay? He says, I've already been wrong about of things that I have already been wrong about in regards to those questions throughout my life, and including some of them recently. And there are things that I will continue to need to modify. So he doesn't want to accept any type of reproof. So yes, he is an Edomite. Vocab Malone is an Edomite. He'll say no, but yet and what he'll use to say and say no is adverse to what the scriptures are saying. Okay? You see, he keeps talking about
the concept of to God all be the glory in all things. And you see how really that's the big essence of to God is the glory. And how beautifully in all things God blesses us in the process and sheds his love on us as well. Not that he has to, but it'd be idolatry if God made the center of his world or attention anything other than himself, because he's the most worthy of worship object in the universe. And so it makes sense that to God be all the glory, meaning that he says, I'll make my name great. And one of the ways he's chosen to do that is by purchasing for himself a people. And it doesn't begin, of course, with Israel. It begins with Abraham. But really, even before that, God always has people he deals with and he chooses. Esau should have been the one that God dealt with as the older brother. But God doesn't make choices in the way we think he should. Instead, he chose Jacob. It should have been.
That's because Esau gave him the suit.
Well, but God had already made the choice. The Bible says in Romans 9,
I know. I'm just
before either one had done anything wrong. And if you look, that's in Romans 9 through 11.
Yeah, for Jacob I've loved and Esau I've hated.
Right, that's a key passage, and that's very challenging to deal with. And then, of course, also, it should have been King Saul, not David. But God chooses David. And now David's brothers, it should have been one of the other brothers, not David himself. Meaning, God chooses according to his own good will and pleasure. And 1 Corinthians 1 is another great section. Really, the first 4 chapters.
So this is the first time he started talking about the scriptures, really. So, and he's still talking out of his ass. It says, with Isaac, because he said with Abraham, right? With Isaac did he establish likewise for Abraham his father's sake the blessing of all men and the covenant, and made it rest upon the head of Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing and gave him an heritage and divided his portions among the 12 tribes did he part them. You see? So the reason why he has all these inconsistencies, again, the Spirit is not supping with them, and he doesn't view the Apocrypha as part of the Bible when it was for the longest time, and only recently has it been removed from the Scriptures. You see, he worships Jesus Christ. How are you going to call on someone? There's only one name given. And Jesus is a new name. That's another thing. There's only one name given. Okay? This is John, no. See, this is one scripture they try to use for that Trinity bullshit. There's a name under heaven. See? He just said it, the Trinity.
Because when we critique Islam, it's not just to pick apart Islam. We should be doing it from a consistent worldview that's Christian. And so sometimes we have to watch out for arguments we use against Islam. And I'm saying I've not been perfect at this, because sometimes we might critique Islam, but we have to say, well, wait a minute, could that same argument be against Christianity and different things? And we have to say, okay, if I use this against Islam, why is it different when it comes to Christianity and things like that? Meaning atheists use arguments against Islam that we wouldn't use. Atheists would attack the very supernatural idea of revelation coming to any man. We don't attack that concept. We would challenge the facts about how Muhammad said the revelation came, because it doesn't look like biblical revelation, for example. It doesn't have a precedence in other scriptures that's valid and consistent. There's all kinds of problems with it. See, but it wouldn't just be God can't speak to people, or God hasn't spoken to his creatures throughout history. But in atheists, so our presuppositions, what we believe over here, our axioms, our foundational things.
So he believes that the Most High is speaking to people. The Most High has his face turned right now. You got to deal with YAHAWASHI, man. So you see, he just pulls shit out of his ass. Okay, now this is Acts 4 and 12. Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. So that Jesus Christ is bullshit. And that's an easy, you could just, that guy is a fucking idiot. Okay, just type in something like, how new is the name Jesus Christ? Right, I'm sure. See, because it's Greek. Ayusis, or Isa is how the Muslims say it, or so-called Arabs say it. Okay, it's a rendition of the Hebrew, which this isn't the correct Hebrew. Okay, it's supposed to be YAHAWASHI. As here they have Yah, Yasha, Yasha, Yasha'aya, so like in my Assyrian, I haven't been into the Assyrian as lately, but that's not right. It's supposed to be YAHAWASHI. And if this dumbass would have just looked in Matthew's the first chapter, 1:1, he would find it. But even with this, he's gonna have a discrepancy. Okay. But even with this, he's gonna have a discrepancy. Okay. But even with this, he's gonna have a discrepancy. Okay. Let's see. Okay. YAHAWASHI. Let's see. If that's if I got the correct Assyrian right there. Let's see. If I got the correct Assyrian. See, Vocab's whole thing is stuck on what do you call it? These theologian scholars. You know, so by me pulling this up, this is something for him to say. Oh no, that's not right. Yeah, see. So we had the YAHAWAH, the SHA, and the I. YAHAWASHI. So it's right there. YAHAWASHI. 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 It's right there. And according to a later form, Yasha. It's right there. Yasha. Yashahaya. Yashahai. Yashahaya. Yeah, Salakia. But you can see it's right there. YAHAWASHI. Okay. So again, this guy's. You can see it's right there. YAHAWASHI. Okay.
5-10 times.
So again, this guy's. You can see it's right there.
Theological discussion. What is that word? And it may take again and again and again and again. But the thing is, like, it's like, hey, is this stuff important? Yeah. Do we have to be geniuses? No, it's just about being a constant disciple. And so what I'm saying is, well, I'll try to do it where, you can understand this part of it, and this part of it might be like,
so, like, is there still an echo? So, like, is there still an echo? Okay, no, it's out. Okay. So, like, yeah. So, yeah, I'm just listening to this fool ran on, man. But he constantly cuts himself. And if he thinks he's got these revelations and things, you know, having his head covered, which that's not something I could see him being spiritual enough to accept anyway. Because this guy is very carnal. He's very carnal. But anyway, I just wanted to put that up there. And he's going to continue to do this stuff. And yeah, hey, he's joined the list of curses. You know, brothers are putting curses up every night, asking Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahawashai to destroy him, destroy his life. You know, bug him out, because he's only going to be relevant for a little while before he realizes that he should have just stayed in his lane and in his own niche. But he really thinks that his place in life is to attack Islam and attack Hebrew Israelites. Well, if he knew anything, he would recognize that Ishmael is a wild man, and his hand is going to be against everyone, man. Let me pull that up. Ishmael is a wild man, and his hand is going to be against everyone, man. I think I spelled that right. Pull that up. Let me see. No, what is it? Let me see. No, what is it? Let me see. I spelled it wrong. That's right. Genesis 16 and 12. I spelled it wrong. That's right. Genesis 16 and 12. Genesis 16 and 12. Okay. 11. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction. And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. See? And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. So they're still over there in the Middle East. Okay, they're still over there in the Middle East. Even Edom, because Edom is taken or stolen the identity of Judah. Okay, and they can't find the rest of their people because they're Edom. They're Edomites. That's another thing vocab refuses to consider is why is the so-called white man all over the world, okay, and colonized and killed and murdered and raped everyone to push Christianity. That's something that he doesn't, he won't approach. Like he said, his whole thing is taking a stance and pressing forward with questions and to avoid questions. That's why when they asked him on this live stream about if he was an Edomite, Daniel's the 7th and 8th chapter, if he ate pork, I think they asked him one other thing. He avoided all those questions. Okay, and a majority of his followers are women. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up with this. And until next time. Shalom, Makim, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, Barakatum. All praise, glory, and honor to the Heavenly Father, YAHAWAH, BaHashem, YAHAWASHI. And may the Most High, okay, in the name of YAHAWASHI, continue to destroy and dismantle all these false doctrines, and which He will and He has done. And that's why the truth is being pushed in Christianity, with that being, as they claim, one of the biggest religions, if not the biggest. Why is the end not come yet? How come they haven't been answering these questions? How come they're with so many holes and gaps? But anyway, shalom.